Good day, mates. How are you? Today we're diving into the fascinating world of Australia, a land of mystery, adventure and kangaroos. But is it all sunshine and rainbows? Australia, the world's sixth largest country, is an island continent sandwiched between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. This unique geographic location makes Australia an ecological and biological wonderland, home to a myriad of wildlife and natural beauty that you won't find anywhere else in the world. But Australia is not just about nature, it's also a land of vibrant cities and rich history. For over 60,000 years, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have called this place home. Later, in 1788, the British claimed the continent, transforming it into a penal colony. Australia gained independence in 1901, and since then it has become a country known for its high quality of life. With all these facts, it's easy to see why Australia is a popular destination. But why do only a few people choose to move there permanently? Let's explore the top 10 reasons not to move to Australia. Starting off our list at number 10, Australia is known for its extreme heat. And it's not just a little hot. We're talking temperatures that can turn the vast outback into a veritable oven, with mercury levels soaring to 50 degrees Celsius. That's a sizzling 122 degrees Fahrenheit. This intense heat isn't only uncomfortable, it can also pose serious health risks. Skin cancer rates are alarmingly high, with 2/3 of Australians diagnosed by the age of 70. And then there are the bushfires. Fueled by the scorching heat and dry conditions, these fires can decimate the landscape and pose a real threat to life and property. Just last year, bushfires ravaged 46 million acres and claimed 451 lives. So, while the heat might be great for a beach vacation, living with it year-round can be a challenge. At number 9, we have the fact that Australia is quite isolated. Nestled between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, it's often dubbed as the world's largest island. This geographical isolation has its perks, like unique wildlife and ecosystems, but it also means it's a long haul from almost anywhere else. If you're from the United States or Europe, you're looking at a minimum of a 15-hour flight. And that's if you're coming from the West Coast. Not to mention the jet lag that comes with crossing multiple time zones. Aside from the lengthy travel times, this isolation can also affect connectivity. While Australia is a developed country with state-of-the-art infrastructure, the reality is that it's still thousands of miles away from major global hubs. This can lead to feelings of being disconnected, both physically and metaphorically, from the rest of the world. So, if you're considering moving to Australia, remember that it's a long way from home. Coming in at number 8, we have the high cost of living in Australia. Australia is known for its high quality of life, but it doesn't come cheap. The cost of housing, whether buying or renting, is significantly higher compared to other countries. Sydney and Melbourne, for instance, consistently rank among the most expensive cities globally. Food prices also tend to be steeper. Due to Australia's geographic isolation, a lot of food needs to be imported, driving up the costs. Dining out is also a pricey affair, with a simple meal in a modest restaurant likely to set you back more than you'd expect. Healthcare, while excellent, is also costly unless you qualify for the government's Medicare system. And don't get us started on the price of fuel and utilities. So, while Australia might have a high standard of living, it definitely comes with a high price tag. At number 7, we have Australia's infamous wildlife. Australia is known for its unique and diverse fauna, but along with cute kangaroos and cuddly koalas, it's also home to some of the world's most dangerous creatures. From venomous spiders like the Sydney funnel web to menacing snakes such as the eastern brown snake, the land down under is a real-life thriller for the unprepared. But it's not just the land animals you need to watch out for. The waters around Australia are teeming with box jellyfish and bull sharks, creatures that could turn a leisurely swim into a nightmare. Now, it's important to note that encounters with these dangerous creatures are not as common as some might think. However, the risk is real, and it's something to consider when moving to Australia. So, if you're not a fan of creepy crawlies or deadly creatures, Australia might not be the place for you. Coming in at number 6, we have Australia's strict immigration rules. This might come as a surprise, but moving to Australia is not a walk in the park. The immigration process is known for its rigorous rules and regulations. It's a lengthy and complex process that requires a lot of paperwork, patience, and persistence. Australia has a points-based system for immigration where factors like age, skills, work experience, and language proficiency are taken into account. And it's not just about scoring high on these parameters, you also need to have a certain occupation that's in demand in Australia. Moreover, the health and character assessments are very thorough. They ensure that the incoming individuals are of good character and are not likely to pose a risk to the Australian community. So, moving to Australia is not as easy as packing your bags and hopping on a plane. It's a journey that requires thorough planning and preparation. At number 5, we have the fact that Australians work some of the longest hours in the world. Yes, you heard it right. The work culture in Australia is notably intense. Many Australians clock in more than 40 hours per week, and it's not uncommon for employees to stay late or bring work home. This might come as a surprise considering Australia's laid-back image, but the reality can be quite different. High stress levels and long hours can take a toll on one's work-life balance, leading to less time for leisure and family. When we compare this with other countries like France or Denmark, known for their strong emphasis on work-life balance, the difference is quite stark. So while Australia might offer great job opportunities, be prepared for a demanding work life. Remember, it's not all sunshine and beaches down under. You may find yourself spending more time in the office than on the surfboard. Coming in at number 4, we have the housing shortage in Australia. Yes, you heard it right. The land of kangaroos and koalas is grappling with a severe shortage of affordable housing, especially in its major cities. This isn't just a problem for locals, but also for the expats dreaming of a life down under. The housing crunch has pushed property prices to astronomical heights, putting home ownership out of reach for many. Rent, too, isn't spared from the surge. The cost of renting a place in cities like Sydney and Melbourne can eat a significant chunk out of your wallet, adding to the already high cost of living. This housing crisis isn't just about numbers and dollars, it's about quality of life. It's about the stress of finding a place you can afford, in a neighbourhood you like, without spending hours commuting each day. So, finding a place to live in Australia might be more difficult and expensive than you think. At number 3, we have the lack of cultural diversity in Australia. Now, don't get me wrong, Australia is a multicultural society with influences from across the globe, but compared to countries like the United States, the cultural diversity can seem limited. Many cities in Australia, while cosmopolitan, are predominantly influenced by British culture due to historical ties. This is reflected in everything from food to architecture to social norms. While you can certainly find pockets of different cultures, the overall cultural landscape is not as varied as you might see in other countries. This can impact your social and cultural experience of living in Australia. For those seeking a rich tapestry of different cultures intersecting and interacting, Australia might feel a bit homogeneous. So if you're looking for a cultural melting pot, Australia might not be your first choice. Coming in at number 2, we have the distance from family and friends. Living in Australia can feel like you're on an island, and not just geographically. The vast distances and time zones can make it challenging to maintain relationships with loved ones back home. Imagine the birthdays, anniversaries, and spontaneous get-togethers you might miss. The time difference alone can make a simple phone call into a scheduling nightmare. And then there are the holidays. While Australians do celebrate many of the same holidays, it's not quite the same as being home with family and friends. It's also important to consider the emotional toll. Yes, there's FaceTime and Skype, but digital communication can't replace a hearty hug or a shared laugh, not to mention the cost and time it takes to fly back home for a visit. So moving to Australia might mean leaving your loved ones far behind. And finally, at number 1, we have the challenges of adapting to a new country. Australia, though a beautiful and stunning land, also presents a unique set of cultural, lifestyle and environmental challenges. It's not just about getting used to the Aussie accent or their love for Vegemite. It's about understanding the laid-back, yet adventurous Aussie spirit, the no-worries attitude, and their unique sense of humour. Then there's the environment, from the arid outback to the humid tropics. Each region of Australia offers a different lifestyle and climate, which can be a challenge to adapt to. And let's not forget the potential feelings of isolation and homesickness that can creep in, especially when family and friends are miles away. These challenges can have a significant impact on one's mental health and well-being. So, moving to Australia is not just about the physical distance, but also about the emotional and psychological adjustments required. So, there you have it, the top 10 reasons not to move to Australia. From the extreme heat and isolation to the high living costs and dangerous wildlife, Australia certainly presents its fair share of challenges. Not to mention the strict immigration rules, long work hours, housing shortage, limited cultural diversity, the distance from family and friends, and the adaptation challenges that come with moving to a new place. But remember, these are just some considerations. Every country has its own unique set of pros and cons. What might be a deal breaker for some could be a non-issue for others. The most important thing is to do your research, weigh the pros and cons, and decide what's the best fit for you. After all, life's an adventure and the world is full of incredible places to explore. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.